Hello everyone, and welcome to another virtual class of English. At this lesson, we are going to discover what the English heritage is all about. Today's topic is British heritage. Look at these objects, please. Where can we find them? Yes, you are right. We can find them in a museum. Do you know how are they called? They are called artifacts. Have you ever visited a museum? Are there any museums in your country? How about your town? Do you know what the largest museums in the world are? Why do people usually visit museums? In this lesson, we are going to find the answers for these questions. And now we'll begin. The UK is home to some of the best museums in the world, from breathtaking natural history collections to fun and interactive exhibitions. Do you know what British museums and art galleries are? Let's discover some of them. British Museum, Tate Modern, National Gallery, National History Museum, Victoria and Albert Museum, Gallery of Modern Art, and the Schmollian Museum in Oxford. Look at the following activity. Are you ready for a challenge? Let's begin. Take your pens and your copybooks and get ready. Look at the word cloud. There are a lot of words there. Try to sort them in 3 columns, in 3 categories: people, places, and new words. Are you ready? Let's check. Oscar Wilde, Rudyard Kipling, Bernard Shaw, Mark Twain, Charles Darwin, Hans Sloane, and King. Places: Reading Room, British Museum, London, Egypt, Athens. New words: heritage, artifact, worldwide, carved, exhibit. Have you found these words? If yes, then you are great. Let's continue. How do you think? How are all these words related? If you look attentively through them, you will find the name of a museum. Which one is it? Yes, you are right. The British Museum. Today we are going to speak about the British Museum and discover it. Before reading a text, we are going to practice the vocabulary. Heritage: features belonging to the culture of a particular society, such as traditions, languages, or buildings that were created in the past and still have historical importance. Artifact: an object that is made by a person, such as a tool or a decoration, especially one that is of historical interest. Worldwide: existing or happening in all parts of the world. Carved: cut or engraved to produce an object, design, or inscription. Exhibit: publicly display a work of art or item of interest in an art gallery or museum or at a trade fair. Let's practice the vocabulary. Answer the questions using the form of the words in bold. How can we protect cultural heritage? You have to answer this question using the word heritage in your answer. Ready? Here is an example. In order to protect cultural heritage, we have to preserve the monuments of the country for the next generation. Why is the British Museum worldwide famous? You have to use the word worldwide in the answer. Ready? British Museum is worldwide famous for its universal collections. The next question. What artifacts have you seen in that museum? Use the word artifacts in your answer. Ready? Here is an example. I have seen a rich collection of artifacts from the history of humanity. Number 4 question. What was the gift box carved from? You have the word carved. Answer this question using the word. Ready? Look at an example. The gift box was carved from wood. What did our school exhibit on the regional exhibition? The word is exhibit. An example. Our school exhibited the students' works of art. Great. Now let's continue. We are going to read a text about the British Museum, and you will find out a lot of interesting things about it. Please be attentive and read together with me. Britain is one of the world's greatest destinations for art and culture. The British Museum is the oldest museum in Europe. It was opened in 1759. Sir Hans Sloane, who lived in London at that time, was a great collector. He collected everything: coins, sculptures, pictures, stones, ancient things. But he died in 1753, and the king bought his collection for £20,000. That was the beginning of the British Museum. There are more than 13 million objects at the British Museum nowadays. Walking through the halls and rooms of the museum, you can study 2 million years of world history and culture. Its collection originates from all continents, and it illustrates the story of human civilization, history, and culture from the very beginning. The Lewis Chessmen is a large group of chess pieces carved from whalebone in the 12th century. The British Museum has a very fine collection of cat mummies, many of which are displayed so that visitors can see the clothes and shoes they were buried in. Some of its most famous exhibits are the mummies and Rosetta Stone, one of the oldest writings of ancient Egyptian literature, carved on a stone, as well as sculptures from the Parthenon in Athens. The Great Reading Room, which is circular in shape, is in the center of the museum. Many famous scientists and writers worked here. Among them are Oscar Wilde, Rudyard Kipling, Bernard Shaw, Mark Twain, Charles Darwin, and many others. I invite you to an imaginary tour through the British Museum. If you look here, you will see the entrance of the museum. This is Rosetta Stone we have read about in the text. Parthenon sculptures. Lost or stolen friend. This is a Moai statue. Egyptian mummies, and the famous reading room, which has a circular shape. Now let's check what you have remembered about the British Museum. Identify if the sentences are true or false and correct the false ones. Ready? Let's check. The British Museum is the oldest museum in the world. This is false. It is not the oldest in the world. It is the oldest in Europe. The king bought Hans Sloane's collection. This is true. The Lewis Chessmen collection is carved from elephant bone. It is false. It is carved from whale bone. It is carved from whale bone. Number 4. Many famous musicians worked in the reading room. It is false. In the reading room have many famous writers and scientists worked in the reading room. And question number 5. The collections of the British Museum illustrate the story of human civilization, history, and culture. This is true. Well done. Let's continue. Choose the correct variant. Hans Sloane was a collector, a historian, or a scientist. Do you remember from the text? Right, he was a collector. The second one. The British Museum houses a collection of 13 million items. Number 3. The collection comprises artifacts from Great Britain, all continents, Europe. The correct answer is all continents. The Lewis Chessmen is a chess player, a large group of chess pieces, or a writer. Correct. A large group of chess pieces. The reading room is circular, triangular, rectangular. Correct. It is circular. Great job. Do you know that each of us has an invisible bucket that is constantly being filled with skills and knowledge throughout our life? When our bucket is full, we feel great, satisfied with our work, and we become more self-confident. Let's see what have we managed to put into our buckets today. Are you ready? Let's begin. Today I have had an imaginary tour through British Museum. I have learned about the British Museum. I have improved my vocabulary. I have practiced reading. I have identified the false statements. And I have checked comprehension of the text. Well done, everyone. The future depends on what you do today. Don't waste your time. Fill your buckets every day. Goodbye.